Calling the meeting to order at 5:32.
Two.
Roll call.
Okay, this is the Economic Development Committee meeting, Village of Lincoln Heights. Today is Monday, April 20th, 2026. It's approximately 5:33. Roll call, Councilman Norvery Tate,
Present.
Councilwoman Phyllis Baber. No response. Vice Mayor Durance Daniels. No response. Councilwoman Trina Carter.
Present.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
And Councilwoman Saritha Brown.
Present.
We have 3 who are present, 2 who are absent. We do have a quorum. And for the record, Vice Mayor Durance Daniels will not be in attendance for tonight's meeting because he's out of town.
Ms. Brown, would you do the honor of a prayer tonight?
I sure will. Let us bow. We're going to wait on Councilwoman Baber real quick here. All right. Heavenly Father, we come to you thanking you in advance for what you have done that we don't know anything about. Father, we thank you for this moment. We ask that you bless each and every person that comes to speak and allow them to come forth for Lincoln Heights and the residents of Lincoln Heights. Lord, I ask you that we allow this council or this commission to do the work of you, which will be to do the work of the residents. I ask you for all these things in your son's name, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
So in your packet, you have the minutes of March 16. We need to approve those minutes. Motion. I have a motion to approve those minutes.
I make that motion. I'll second it.
It is in motion by Ms. Carter and second by Ms. Brown, Councilman Brown. With any corrections? Roll call, please.
All in favor?
Those in favor.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next we have Ms. Liz Bloom, Mr. Steve Johns, and the members of the steering committee who helped approve the housing and land use plan. They're here to take questions from the people in the village, and we're going to take portions of the plan out that we don't want. Is that correct, Mr. Brown?
Yeah. So, Councilman Tate, the objective is for the steering committee to provide a presentation. We have several representatives here today for the steering committee that created the land use plan and the housing action plan. And Mr. Steve Johns is prepared to give a presentation and answer any questions that may come up from council or residents.
Councilmember, thank you. Again, my name is Steve Johns. I'm the Assistant Director for Hamilton County Planning and Development. And with me today is April Gillelli. She's a Senior Program Manager. You may know her from her work with the CDBG funds that the village gets. She helps administer those. And also Valerie Daly is with LISC. She helped with the Housing Action Plan. So they both have a hand in definitely what we're talking about this evening. I have just about 10 slides to kind of set the table for what we're going to do, and you have some maps in front of you, which are kind of some of the meat of the recommendations that were made in these 2 documents as we move toward a master plan for the village. Got it. So tonight we're going to go over a couple things. So just to understand where we've been, sort of. So we know we keep talking about how we've done a lot of planning and a lot of public input for a variety of things. And we're trying to bring all that together into this new planning effort. And we don't want to throw out the good stuff with the bad, so we're going to try to look at the things we like and eliminate the things that we don't in these plans so that we can move forward. So the 2 plans that are the foundation for what we want to talk about today were the land use plan update, and that was from 2021, and then also the housing action plan. These 2 efforts are somewhat similar. They talk a lot about land use, about how do we use the land in the village. So what we want to do this evening and through this effort is to merge these 2 studies into this master plan. So we're going to review the original plans a little bit. We're going to do some updates based on your input and refresh some of the data, and then have a new document for you next month where you can review it and decide where you want to go from here. Next slide, please. So just a couple points on these two plans. Well, first, an additional plan that is up here is the technical assistance panel. If you go back before COVID, June 2019, and why we brought that up is it just talked about some of the things that that plan found. Some of the important things that we heard during that planning process, that the family values and history of this community are very important, that it's very important to provide a safe environment for this village, but we also want efficient and effective government, and our big key is to strengthen the tax base. To do all the things that people want to do, to have the amenities, things like that, we need a strong tax base for the village to be able to do those things. And then on to the land use plan, some of the goals there were to identify locations for land uses that will help with that tax base issue. We also heard that residents are interested in a variety of housing. We have a lot of single-family housing in the village. We also have a lot of apartments in the village, but not some of that middle type of housing, like townhouses or things like that. And also, we thought in that land use plan to define the center of the village. Where is the center of activity in the village? So that was a big goal of that plan. So what came out of that land use plan was many of those things that reflect the goals. To look at more housing options, to find a center, to expand commercial opportunities, because there's where that tax base is. Grow light industrial options. There's a lot of light industrial in the village, and there could be more. So those kind of things would then set up a plan that would allow more legal justification for making changes to the zoning code, which would then allow that development to happen. So a couple of the development strategy pieces in that were to maximize single-family infill sites. So there's a lot of vacant lots in the village, so we want to fill those up with single-family homes. The center would be this, quote, Main and Main, kind of a main street, if you will, at Lindy and McGee. And then also to identify new mid-density housing opportunities in the center of the village, near a village hall. That turned out to be one of the most controversial pieces, is the potential relocation of Village Hall, the potential increasing the density in this area. There's a word used in the appendix, said demolish. Yeah, so that was a scary word. So I think that would be, when we get to the detailed recommendations, one of the ones where I would recommend taking that out, because that received a lot of input lately about that not maybe being the time or place for that. Next slide. All right, on to the action plan for housing. And you'll see these themes keep popping up. We want more pride in Lincoln Heights. We want to enhance the civic life. We have great institutional anchors here, new housing. We want to support the people who already live here. We want more green space and amenities like natural assets, streets that are up to date, and sidewalk conditions. And, the village is now working on a lot of that type of stuff. And to eliminate blight. So what are some of the recommendations out of that action plan after we heard about those values? Is support the housing stability for existing residents. Let's have a great repair program. Let's do code enforcement. Let's make people get the value of their homes by making sure if they have tangled title where it's hard to pass along a home to family members, is to make sure that that gets helped. LISC right now has a great program to help deal with tangled title that involves using legal aid, the lawyers at legal aid, to help make sure that the title is clear so it can be passed on or can be sold, so that we can have that generational wealth transferred. So that's a big issue, and we have a way to help with that. LISC also has a home repair program right now. A loan program, yes. So, and I think people are working on perhaps other ways to do home repair as well. So we know that loans are good, grants are better, so trying to figure out how to do that. And then how do we expand these home ownership options? Well, we got to build new housing. So with all those lots that you have, is to start to actually put homes on them. And we've seen people do that on their own. Private citizens have come and purchased lots and they build homes, and usually the price is on a new home is in that $275,000 to $350,000 area. That's just the fact of the matter of building in the private sector right now. It's pretty expensive. But that is a way to increase the value of homes in the village. And then back to this main and main thing. Here it comes up again. So it's come up in both plans. Where is this town center? And every time we talk about it, people say it should be at Lindy and McGee. You asked for updated data. This is not the most recent, but we're working on pulling that together. But these are the kind of data points that we put together. How many renters are in the village currently? How many households? How many people live here? There's a lot of youth in the village. It's something that always strikes us when we see these data points. This is just a way to help us support some of our findings when we bring them to you for decisions. Next slide. All right. This is the fun part. So these are two maps, and there's paper handouts on the front, and I have extra copies here. If anyone in the audience would like to please pass them around. I only have one copy. So, I know it's very small to see, so I'll try to talk these through as I go through them. All right. So okay, first, let's do Land Use Mapping 101. This is the first time many of you have probably seen one of these land use maps. So there's a bunch of colors on there. Colors are important to planners because they help show us what kind of land use we're talking about. So we start with kind of the yellow colors. Those are for residential uses. So you see both the upper and lower sub are more in that yellow color. For single-family houses. And then we have colors that start to move to more of an orange. There's even a kind of darker yellow, which might be for duplexes or townhouses or things like that, slightly higher density housing. And then there's the orange, which is for generally multifamily housing. So we're talking now of 4 families and higher, apartments and things like that. Then the next color that we often go to is the red, which is for commercial or retail uses. So you think about retail, that would be shops, restaurants, things like that. Offices sometimes are put in that red color. And then we move to the purple colors. The purple colors are for industrial uses. And the lighter shade is for light industrial, so that might be warehousing or things like that, light manufacturing. And then there's the dark purple, which is for heavy industrial. And sometimes heavy industrial can be things that people want to put way off to the side of their village because it might have emissions, it might have noise, it might be kind of dirty. You know, you might think of something like a junkyard would be in that heavy industrial area, or maybe a chemical plant or something like that. You know, something that's necessary for our world, but definitely something you want to isolate maybe from residential uses. And then on the future land use map, well, there's 2 colors that I didn't speak to. One is that aqua on your current zoning map, and that is for Lincoln Heights, you use it for something called public. That's where the schools are located. That's where the Southwest Ohio Water Facility is located, which is like a infrastructure use, a public utility, if you will. We don't often see that on zoning maps anymore. Usually those kind of uses can be what we call a conditional use in a residential zone. So that's why you see the aqua only on your existing zoning map and not on the future land use map. On the future land use map, you see there's a brown color. So that brown color is for mixed use. That's more and more popular these days. You might see in a neighborhood like College Hill or Madisonville, where there's retail on the bottom, a store, a barber shop, something like that, and then there's apartments above, a mix of uses, all in the same place. Sometimes those uses get mixed horizontally. You might have a restaurant on the property and an office nearby and maybe an apartment building close by. So you can do more of a variety of things in those mixed use zones. And those are more and more popular these days because it gives the developer a little bit more freedom, and you can go up taller a lot of times with that kind of development. All right, Any questions about just those different colors and shapes? So your zoning map is something you have in place. That's the one that is the rules and regulations about what you can do on your property. The land use map is the one that has not been adopted. That was in that 2001 plan, and that would set the stage for potential changes to the zoning map to help meet the goals of the community. And so that's the big piece that I personally had a lot to do with on that plan and wanted to walk through, because as I was saying at the beginning of the meeting, there's certain parts of it where maybe today we don't want to do some of that. Some of it's pretty easy. So up on Mangan, there's a green circle on this area. I think it might be on those. No, it's not on those maps. Up on Mangan, there's apartments that are located in the purple zone right now, the light industrial zone. So we wanted to fix that. So we suggested showing that on the future land use map as orange rather than the purple that it is light industrial on the map. See if I can use the mouse to show that. So that is this area up here in the northeast corner of the village. Yes, ma'am. So it's a comparison of the change we want to make. So this on the right map, which is your zoning map, it shows several apartments on the east side of Mangan that are actually zoned industrial, which is something we want to fix. So I thought that's a kind of relatively easy thing. We just want to fix that. That might have been an oversight in past zoning efforts. So that's why I put it in green. Like, green, let's go. Let's do that one. I also mentioned how the zoning map has this teal or kind of aqua color, and that we don't see that very often. So I thought and the committee did as well, the whole effort, that Southwest Ohio Water should be light industrial, which is the kind of type of use it is, rather than a public use. So again, I thought of that one as maybe not a mistake, but just a fix that we were going to do with this effort. All right, so those two are pretty easy. Then if we move right south of Southwest Ohio Water, we come to an area that currently in your zoning is commercial, the red color. And I think some of the uses there are actually a little bit more like a light industrial use. There's still some houses in this area, right next to Mangan, and I think what the planners had thought is because it's pretty close to the Shepherd interchange, maybe there'd be retail type uses that would want to be close to that interchange, commercial type uses. But I feel like the village, and I think others would agree, the flavor of this area along Mangan is a little more of light industrial, warehousing, those kind of things. So that was the recommendation there. I'll take a pause right there. That's about a third of the recommendations, and see if there's any questions about those three. Chairman?
Yes. You need to come up to the mic, state your address.
Your name.
Laverne Mitchell. So years ago, when you talk about Mangum and its commercial, council did make all of Mangum up to Lindy commercial, just in case they wanted to continue where we were already starting the commercial district. You know, and one of the sides was people get more money for their property if it was commercial. But you're saying that it should be light industrial? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm suggesting, but the difference between those two uses is not a whole lot of difference. The good part that we saw in the goals is that area, because it's close to the interchange and can be seen from the highway, probably would make sense for some sort of commercial, be it retail or industrial. And that would help grow the tax base for the village. Anytime we're talking about areas that are industrial retail, we're hoping that would be a way to have more people employed in the village, people would pay higher taxes probably on the higher valuation of those properties if they were developed. So that is the thinking in that plan, but it's not that big. Yeah, you could. Yes, yes. So in some zoning codes, as you get more intense, so if you go from residential to commercial to industrial, you can do any of the uses underneath that. Yeah. So if we were recommending industrial, you probably still could do commercial, and we'd have to double check your code. So it's the most permissive as you move up the chain to do the industrial. You're welcome. All right, let's try to go to the next couple. Well, no, I'm still on that.
Did anybody-
We've got
Any more
about
question?
No.
about 10 of these little areas that we're recommending changes for. I'm going to switch over to the brown ones. So if you see the area, if this is Lincoln Heights Missionary Baptist Church right here in Woodlawn, right on the edge of the village. Just south of it is a lot of property that is owned by the church and used in a variety of manners. We thought having it heavy industrial, excuse me, was a little weird. And then there's a big hill at the back, right? There's a big hill back toward Wyoming. So that brown is that mixed use area. So you could have a variety of uses, kind of like how the church currently uses that area. A bunch of different types of uses. So that seemed to make sense for what is currently going on in that area. So that's why we recommended that. And then the next big brown area is near the Lindy and McGee area. So to make for the main and main high density activity node, you want to be able to do a lot of different uses. So that is what we put right near that intersection, on all four sides of that intersection. And then over by Villas of the Valley, there's that very large open space just north of Lindy that's currently not developed. So that's that extension of that brown mixed use area all the way practically to Anthony Wayne. Those are some pretty big areas. We're talking tens of acres, 20, 30 acres in that area. A lot of acreage in that area. All right, and then we have this little area on Adams just across from the school that is currently zoned two-family residence. It's that slightly darker yellow. And we were thinking extending the orange multifamily from Dorothy and Adams all the way to, which one is that, Stephen? No, sorry. What cuts through the middle of the village there? Leggett, sorry, appreciate that. Extend there. The planners got really excited about this site because it's up high. It's one of the highest places in the village, right? And the views from over there by the school are really good. And so we thought maybe that could be a multifamily, perhaps even a condo type building where people could take advantage of those views and be right close to by the school. So that was one of the thoughts there. Okay. Then we got a couple of other changes along Anthony Wayne. So right now, Anthony Wayne, the east side, which is in the village, the west side is in Laughlin. So the east side is all that retail, that red color. And so we were looking at changing the area up by Lindy, where there's two churches, back to residential, because churches can be in a residential zone. So we wanted to respect that the current use of that property was not commercial. Actually, it's two churches, religious. And then we're seeing that a lot of the uses along that east side on Wayne are already industrial. There's a couple light industrial. I think there's the ink place. And then there's an abrasives company down closer to Shepherd. So those are more what you would call industrial type uses. So we wanted to try to have that actually match rather than the retail that is currently shown. All right, we're almost done. The last two were the redevelopment of the village hall and the surrounding area, and that's the one I'm recommending to take off. I don't think there's a lot of interest in doing that right now. So we were thinking that there would be another mixed-use center, but you're going to have one right at Lindy and McGee anyway, just a couple blocks up. So maybe this one doesn't make sense right now. So that is the one that I heard in some people talking about it at last meeting, and even when we were putting together the plan, I think people were a little, that was an aggressive type change that we were proposing there. And then the last piece is the extension of the retail or commercial area down Shepherd. So the area near Mangum is already zoned retail, but we thought people, when you're close to that interchange, that's when they want retail uses because it's easy to get to them. This is another one that I think might be a little controversial because right now there's single-family homes in that area. Some are owner-occupied and some, I believe, are investor-owned. And so we were looking at that and wondered. So at Shepherd and Mangum, if you go a little bit further west on Shepherd, we were thinking the homes on either side of Shepherd could be proposed, again, not in the zoning yet, but in the land use map as retail, commercial. You know, one of the things that you see almost at every interstate interchange you stop at is a hotel. And this interstate interchange does not have a hotel. And so to find enough space to do something like that would require expanding your commercial zone somewhat. So that's kind of where planners were thinking.
So how would these changes affect the people that are currently living in these areas?
Well, you heard a little bit about that. How would it affect the people that currently live there? And Ms. Mitchell talked about it some, is that all of a sudden, once you put a change on a map, maybe investors would be a little more interested in buying the property for a different use. And so they might knock on your door and say, hey, I heard that your property now is in a different land use, and that maybe the council would change the zoning based on the land use. And so that might happen. Developers might come by and say, oh, I didn't really want to buy your house to keep it residential, but I am interested if I can turn it into commercial because I can make more money on a commercial use. So it starts the process of people thinking about changing use. But the actual people with that property would have nothing, no change. The use hasn't changed. They're still living there. It's still a residential use. It hasn't been changed on the zoning map. It won't get changed at the auditor's office, so no tax change for that. So the only change is that there's potential for the use to change somewhere down in the future. But that's enough to signal, you know, those developers out there. They want to find ways to make money, and if they see the possibility, they will start sniffing around, and that's the whole point. Actually, we want development to happen in Lincoln Heights so that there's more tax base, more tax revenue, and we can do the things that the community wants to do with those additional revenues. But technically, nothing happens to the people that have a land use change on their property.
Mr. Chair, you have a question in the audience. You have a question in the audience.
To the mic.
Question about the property where you're talking about down Shepherd Drive. So explain how you keep something out that you don't want, like that garage down there. So you know what I'm saying, that we got on Mangum, because we have the CDL back there, the CDL school. And then we had the Beans property. So what do you do so that you don't get those type of things there that are not friendly to the environment? How do we do that? What's the process that we need to go through to say no, we don't want that, even though they want to come in. I think that has been one of our issues. You know, you have people come in and want to purchase, they want to put something there, but that's how we wind up with 2 junkyards in our community, and that's took us forever to get it. We lost $640,000 with the ISO grant because, well, you know the story, but I think that's what we need to understand.
Oh, boy. Ms. Mitchell has seen a lot in the village. So unfortunately, that area where the Roger Bean property is, you know, the far end of Shepherd as it goes all the way up almost to Lincoln Heights Missionary Baptist Church's property. So like back in here, you know, how Shepherd kind of dead ends back here. And that's where Roger Bean had a junkyard. Am I getting that correct? Yes. Well, it's currently zoned for heavy industrial. So if you don't want those types of uses that often come in a heavy industrial district, that's why we're recommending in the plan to maybe shift that to light industrial, where it wouldn't be those noxious types uses. But the trick is that once they're in, they're grandfathered in. So it's really hard to get rid of something once it's in place, unless there's a health hazard or something. I know you can use other tools other than zoning to deal with a use that might be a nuisance.
I do have a question.
I bet. That's a lot.
Okay. My question actually goes back to rezoning the residential area down on Shepherd Lane.
Yes.
So can you walk me through that? And thank you for your patience with me, but can you walk me through that? So I understand the point is to create a commercial area so that maybe investors would come in, but we're also thinking about, and I saw you had the word up there, legacy land, because there are families that have been there for generations. So what exactly, what exactly would happen? Like, is there any way that they could decide not to sell, but then something happens? Or if they decide to sell it to maybe someone else in the family, to change the title over to that person because of a death or whatever, would there be problems with them doing that because it would now be zoned as commercial? Or
Nope. So this is back to kind of, in a way, the junkyard example is that an existing use can stay there as long as it wants, even if the zoning changes on top of it. So it becomes a non-conforming use, and unless it goes vacant, that's usually the thing that triggers zoning to come in. So if somebody did not live in the house for, say, a year, I'd have to look at your code to understand what the time frame is, then the zoning would come into effect. And we're still not talking about zoning yet in that extension in Shepherd. We're talking about just making a change in the land use plan. But you get it, it kind of gets the wheels turning in that direction. I think the issue there is, what if you were surrounded, like there's about, I think, 6 or 7 houses that, maybe 10, that have been shaded red from Mangan down to the west. What if you're the only house that doesn't want to sell, and then you get surrounded by commercial uses? That's kind of a yuck, right? You have to put up with the new noise and other things that come along with a commercial use. Maybe it would be imagine if it was a restaurant, there'd be smells and other kinds of things. So I think that's why that area is one that I think maybe just isn't ready yet to go. That if somebody had accumulated all that property as like an investor, and they wanted to do something different, I think that might be a good time, because then it's not necessarily taking anybody's ownership. But until that time comes, maybe maybe we should put that on hold as well. Like, to exactly your point, there are people that live there. That would be a radical change from going from the houses that are currently there to something like, potentially a gas station or something. You never know.
understanding of how many of the houses are owned by people that don't live in the homes? I'm sorry. I was just asking, does anybody have a sense of how many of the houses that are on Shepherd are actually owned by people who live in the homes or owned by people who are maybe out of state, out of town, and are renting these houses? Because that could make a difference.
I actually was going to ask that same question. So,
Yeah, so, Chairman, if I may, as it pertains to the ownership of the properties on Shepherd Lane, I believe we have that information. I can go and peruse through some of our files to collect that and have that presented at the next Economic Development Committee meeting.
Yeah, we'd be happy to do that for you, Mr. Brown. I think we did part of that during that plan, and that might have been one of the reasons we looked at that area, is that there is at least, I would say, 50% of the homes are owned by an investor. And I think, in fact, I think there might be one investor that owns 3 or 4 of the homes. But they probably were thinking, wow, these are just great homes close to an interchange, and I do well renting them as homes. They might not be thinking, oh, a grand vision. But this would, again, set the process in motion if the village wanted to.
Mr. Chair, I also had a question which will come up probably later on, but I was wondering, can we get information, and actually I guess this is for Mr. Brown, can we get information on how many corporate investors we have that own homes in the village, just so we can have a vision of who owns what? I have a reason for that, but I won't get into it right now. But can we
Understood.
get that?
Yeah, I think it's certainly possible to gather that information, that data on the homes, the residential properties that are owner occupied versus residences that are owned by corporations or any type of a holdings firm.
Thank you.
Yep.
She took my question.
Is there any more questions from the audience? Come to the microphone, please.
So when you talk about Centennial Estates on the east side of Mangum, you're saying that all of those homes from Magnolia to Wabash are industrial, or so far up? Does it include the structures, or just maybe the land behind the structure where the fence might be?
Yeah, I wish I had a little bit bigger map, and next time I will bring a big paper map this big. But yes, it's the structures. You can see 4 buildings, I believe, right there, 5, exactly from Magnolia up to the curve as you get toward Mariana Terrace, are all zoned industrial according to the maps we have currently, which seems like just a mistake. And these things happen, and this would be a reason to fix that during this process.
And is the property on Wabash, the lawn part on Wabash, also industrial across from Mariana Terrace? You know what I'm saying?
It's right at the
So
end
when
of
you
the
come out-
buildings.
When you're going down Wabash, you have this grass over here, right on the south side.
Okay.
So there's a fence there. So if those houses, if those units are industrial, would that property also be industrial?
I'd have to research that one. I want to be certain I get it right. So I don't.
And Lockland Road, down there Lockland Road, is that industrial or is that residential? Where they're dumping stuff, where there used to be a house there and they're trying to put Lockland Road back through there. Is that industrial or residential?
So that's on the south part of the village?
When you go down Wabash
Uh-huh.
to the dead end, Lockland Road, what used to be Lockland Road, would that be considered residential or industrial?
These are good questions. I will look.
Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
I have one question, just about that that zoning for Centennials, is it really because of where Centennial sits, or was it because of where Techview is? Is Techview zone light industrial, or is it really Centennials? Because there's a whole field behind Centennials that goes down into Techview that could be deemed industrial, but I don't see how or why they would deem Centennials from that way all the way up to Centennials being zoned that. I don't understand it, because it used to be an exit and entrance of the highway. There used to be a Queenie Weenies and all of that down there. So I can understand that being zone light industrial, but it makes no sense to me that all the way to
I think
Centennials.
they just drew it to Mangum. I think when they did that zoning, and this has been a long time ago, I think your zoning map has not been updated in a fair amount of time. I think sometimes it's just whoever was drawing the map, like, just made it easy and said, I'm just going to draw it all the way over to the road, and it ended up causing this little problem that we want to fix. Because you're right, that whole area is that light purple, right? You see south of Mariana Terrace, so south of Mangum all the way down to basically Lindy is all purple. So am I answering your question? It seems weird. You're exactly right. Your intuition is right. It's like, why would somebody do that? So I think
it makes sense that
it was
somebody
a
just didn't
mistake.
think it through.
Yep.
I got another one. So what you were saying earlier, as far as the scary word demolition, are we looking to build a plan without that scary word in this moment in time right now? Because there was a lot of the residents, I guess, withdraw from the land use plan because of that word. So can you, I guess, not for me, but maybe for people that's listening, make everybody understand what that means in this moment?
Yes, that is a great question. So as we went through this, those two ones that I talked about last, the extension of Shepherd, so the plan would not be saying go demolish those homes, but if a commercial entity wanted to come, they'd have to demolish those. If an investor came in and wanted to put in something that fit in that retail zone, like a gas station or a restaurant or a hotel or something like that, of course they would have to buy those properties, tear down the homes, and then build. So are they being demolished? Yes, for development. So that's why I think we are wanting to err on the side of caution today and not have those things move forward on the land use map, because things could get torn down, not because of the plan,
right.
but because new development would happen. Whereas the village has plenty of open space and existing lots and things like that, the old school site, so there's no need to start putting pressure on a place that might see a fairly radical change like that of homes being torn down for new development. I think I'm getting the sense, just like you are, that the time's not quite right for that. That's a little aggressive right now. Let's do the things that we can do with the existing land that's open. Yeah. So that's why our new recommendation is to take away that extended designation of retail on Shepherd and the mixed use and higher density around this building. So then there won't be people knocking on doors saying, hey, can I buy your house and the next house and that house, and then I want to build this fancy new and ultimately that would mean things would have to get demolished to do that new, where we know there is a lot that we can do before on existing open land. Great question.
Thank you.
Ms. Barber? Ms. Baber, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. What about those areas on Lindy and Leggett? I mean, not Lindy, Bird in between Leggett and McGee, and Jackson in between Leggett and McGee, where they were proposing demolishing that area and doing the parks or public.
Say more for me. So there was going to be demolishing of existing homes that have people in them for a park? I'm not familiar with that.
What was it was in the writing. It's not showing on these maps like that. But remember, it was
Oh.
Exhibit.
Yes, right by here.
yeah, one of them is right by here.
Yes,
On Bird.
yes.
In
No, I would
between.
say all that would not be recommended in this redo of this draft.
And then on Jackson, because it was the same situation.
I'll have to look at that as well. I don't want to misspeak. So that, you're right, there was a lot of writing in the end of the land use plan, kind of almost like in an appendix. And it talked about, hey, you could do this and that, and it was meant to be speculative. It was meant to just give people ideas, but I think people took it as this is going to happen, and we don't want that impression to be out there. Back to the dreaded D word, demolish. Like we don't want people to think that this plan is going to acquire property that currently has people living in a home, and that it's going to be torn down. That's not. So if there's anything in the plan that gives that impression, we want to rip it out. We don't want that to move forward.
Question from Ms. Davis. When you talk about a park on Jackson, are you talking about coming around the corner from Jackson to McGee? What property were you
No,
referring to?
they were in the land use, the written plan. It speaks on McGee, at the end of McGee, all the way to the end of Leggett. So all that stuff up there on that block would be torn down, and they would make a public park area,
From McGee to Leggett?
as well
On the-
as on Bird, the same area in between Leggett and McGee.
So you're talking about taking all those homes and the church?
Everything.
Is that what they were?
Everything
referring-
in that block.
Oh, okay. I was thinking that you were talking about the property in Martin Luther King that abuts Jackson and McGee. Okay.
No, but I think that was the reason they wanted to do that, because that area right there, that curb that you're referring to, they want to put something like a big high-rise right there with the rooftop. And then the land, so then those people would have a place to go and sit, and yeah, they would need a developer for it, but that was their reasoning behind it.
Are you done, sir?
I am. If there's no other questions, we would appreciate any feedback you have. You know, there's a lot of information to take on in a fairly short time. So if you have other questions or comments, feel free to email me or Mr. Brown, because I believe our plan, if you go to the next slide, Mr. Brown, is to come back to you with an updated plan. And that would include taking out the recommendation to extend the retail along Shepherd, and it would also take out the increase of density around the village center. Those are two we know we're going to do. And then we're going to take out all that appendix that talks about, all the writing that talks about acquiring homes and tearing them down. That's not going to be in the plan that we present next month.
So, yeah, you need to sit up front.
To say that 10 minutes ago.
So I'm just curious if you do the background on why that was suggested on Stephens when we had the Stephens Street corridor, so people get an idea where we were then in terms of multi-use businesses and homes, which was quite the thing at that time.
Yes.
I think when you do it isolated, it makes it look like nobody knew what they were doing, but we paid for KDM to come in and say, hey, at that time, let's try to be like everybody else where you are having those mixed use. I think that's important to understand.
Yes. So I agree with Ms. Mitchell that we will bring some context to why it is not the case back like it was in 21, that we've heard more input. Times have changed a little bit. There's different leadership at the village, and this is what makes most sense today. And there'll be some sort of rationale of why, well, you said back in 21 this. Well, it's different now, and we've heard more input, and this is what we think we can do at this point.
So, Mr. Brown, would this plan, once we come back and review it, would it go back to the planning commission or would it come back to us?
Great question. So I think it would go, the plan as it is presented will come back to the committee for Economic Development Committee. We could also submit a draft to Planning Commission so that way they can have an opportunity to review. But the objective is to have this approved within, I believe, Q3 of 2026, because there's several grant opportunities that are going to be coming up. And as I've shared several times within different meetings, having a master plan is really what's going to activate community economic development within the village in such a way where we'll have access to funding that doesn't require financing. So we can take on more monies for various purposes, such as infrastructure funds. We could get more infrastructure funds. I know that potholes and the sidewalks and street aprons seem to be a recurring theme as well. So being able to use the master plan and leverage that for additional funding is something that we're particularly interested in. And so as it pertains to like the order of operations, the Planning Commission will get a copy of the updated land use plan and housing action strategy, which will be combined within a master plan, and it will go up to economic development and subsequently to council for approvals. And I want to reiterate again, this is incredibly important for the village's purposes as we are looking to increase our tax base. I know that that's something that's really important for us, so that way we can provide greater service delivery to the residents. I'll give a brief data call out with respect to the tax revenue or the not just tax revenue, but how we support local businesses. So the residents, as it was presented within the last land use plan, residents generate approximately $22 million in annual spending, and about $15 million of that leaves the community. And so if we have further economic development within the village, that money circulates within the village of Lincoln Heights. And so for that reason, I want to make sure that we are looking at this with, open minds and clear eyes, so that way we can advance the village forward.
How soon would you be able to have a new plan developed?
Yeah, and that's what they presented this evening. They are working to have this completed by June 2026, so like literally in a couple months. Additionally, I know we have kind of talked about having a town hall discussion with the residents, and I believe that that's going to be very, very helpful, so that way everyone will be able to have an understanding of what the land use plan is, or the master plan is, what it's going to do for the village, and can have their input. There will be no more surveys. I know we've been surveyed like crazy over the past few years, but we're going to take the data that exists from other primary sources and just kind of hear from the residents. And so we'll be on the lookout for that. I know we'll be coordinating that here very soon. But yeah, that's where we are with that.
Carter, you have a question?
Yes, sir. I just want to clarify something. Well, for one, I want to go back to the fact that our land use plan, the updated one, will be available to residents, correct? Like relatively quickly. But when you said Q3, are you thinking we should vote on this like by July? Is that our goal?
I would like for there to be a vote on this by July. However, also because I know that the council is going to be on recess in August. So trying to think of the timeline, if worst case scenario happens and it needs to be presented before council in September, then that's something that we can do. But the objective is to get it to council as soon as possible for review and approvals, because as I mentioned, a lot of these grant opportunities are coming up, and I want to make sure we have what we need in order to secure funding for the village. And that's really important for us. So as I mentioned, it's desired. The intention is to have it before council in July, so that way we can move forward with approvals.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Are you ready, ma'am?
Okay.
Could you please state your name and spell it, please? We're recording.
Yes, Valerie Daly, Valerie, first name, and then last name is D as in dog, Aley. And I just wanted to mention, Steve talked about heirs property work that we're doing, but we would love for you to share information. I can share that with Gaines to distribute after. But we have cleared 50 titles in Hamilton County, which is remarkable. We're really excited about that. So we'd love to have residents in the community that may not have a legal way to pass on their property. They might be a homeowner, to help them with that free of charge. So we'd love to get referrals from the community.
Thank you.
Do we have any more comments from the public? Come to the microphone, please.
I just want to know how that works when we do that program, much like we did the legal with the wheels and things. So how does that work, and what do people have to do?
Super easy. Legal Aid has been great to work with, so I can share information that's on our website. And if you all know of folks, you can just I can give you the information for Stacy Purcell at Legal Aid and just send a couple of lines of information, the homeowner's name, address, what they might be interested in. I think that Stacy may have been attempting or has connected with Lincoln Heights to do an estate planning clinic in the village. So that's a potential opportunity to host here as well. But it really is just a name and a phone number, and they make it very easy for folks to work with them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the ad hoc committee for the economic development. For the 80th day celebration. So how do we go about, is it members from the community that's on that committee?
So I think I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think it should be all of us, but not all of us. Somebody from the council, and also I have been reaching out to a number of residents that are willing to be on the ad hoc committee on Friday. Friday we're gonna meet just to talk. I'm gonna meet with them just to talk to them about what it looks like and what the ad hoc is and all of the things, and then they're gonna come to the next recreation meeting to bring all of their ideals and research and all the things that they have to connect with what we have. Even though that's Trina's job.
Chairman, may I ask Councilwoman Brown a question? You said you were going to meet with some residents. Is it going to be here? Do we need to publicize it to open it up or no? Okay.
No,
I just wanted
no.
for notes purposes. Okay.
Do we have any announcements? If no announcement, motion to adjourn? Second? I can't second.
Second.
It's been a motion, motion by Ms. Brown and second by Ms. Carter. Meeting is adjourned.
Good evening, everybody. It's Monday, April the 20th, and we want to bring this economic development meeting to order. I mean, recreation. What did I say? Economic development?
Yeah.
I'm still stuck there. It is 6:40. Roll call, Ms. Lisa, please.
Councilwoman Phyllis Baber,
Present.
Councilwoman Saritha Brown,
Present.
Councilwoman Trina Carter.
Present.
We have 3 who are present. We do have a quorum.
Let me do this prayer, please. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thy is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I would like acceptance of the Recreation Committee minutes from March the 16th, 2026, with any corrections. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion. Second.
It's been motioned and second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
I wanted to go into old business, and it's not on the, this is not on the agenda as far as the old business. It goes right into Memorial Field. I do want to know about Memorial Field, but more importantly, I want to talk about our, what we had discussed in our last meeting, the last time when we had a recreation meeting. Because I know, and more to that ad hoc committee, I thought that we had decided that we were going to have meetings on the first Tuesday of the month for this ad hoc committee at the Respect My Block meeting. And I heard last meeting that we're doing something totally different that I know nothing about. So please, someone update me on what's going on with this ad hoc. Because like I said, it says right here in the minutes that we will be doing our meetings at the Respect My Block. So what happened that these meetings changed that we won't be doing Respect My Block and we're doing something outside of the village and, da-da-da-da.
Madam Chair. There's no difference. I thought that there was somebody that was supposed to be connecting with the residents, and on behalf of the residents, as a resident, I was meeting with the residents. Everything is still the same here. Nothing, I don't think anything has changed, other than I just wanted, when people ask you what is the ad hoc and all of this, when you ask them to be involved, then instead of me explaining it 15 times, I wanted to meet with everybody at once, tell them what the ad hoc was, what we would be expected, what we were all going to be doing together. And then, as I said before, they were going to come to the meeting with whatever they have to present to the commission.
So what exactly will you be telling these people? I mean, because like you said, you're going to explain to them
That we're coming together. We're going to, as the residents
Could you
and the council.
bring your mic down? I'm sitting next to you and can't hear
I'm
you.
sorry. As residents and council, we were going to come together as a whole and create what the 80th anniversary would look like, with floats and entertainment and all of the things, and everybody coming together at the meetings and having their ideals and dialogue and us creating that thing together. I'm not doing anything outside of, I thought that we had made an understanding that somebody had to reach out to the residents to build the ad hoc.
So it was my understanding from the last meeting is that, like I said, we were going to invite them on the first Tuesday of the month. We're inviting all the residents out on the first Tuesday of every month to discuss what we wanted to see and how we wanted it to look like. So but then you said that you would be inviting them to the next recreation meeting. Yeah, last meeting. This
Well,
is what
I
you
didn't-
said.
I wasn't able to get everybody involved so they could all come to this meeting. If I could bring people, I was gonna bring people, but they couldn't come.
So, but my thing, the point I'm trying to get to you is,
Well, just make the point.
and I thought I did when I said that by the grace of God, the first Tuesday of every month, we will meet to discuss this.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying last meeting that you're going to invite the people to the next recreation meeting, but the first Tuesday of the month will come before that, is what I'm saying. The first Tuesday of next month will come before this recreation, because the recreation meeting is on the third week, and the first Tuesday is on whatever, the first or second week, whatever it is.
Okay, maybe I misspoke and said recreation, but I meant the block, Rock My Block meeting. That's the meeting you said that they needed to come to. But Mayor Key also said that we needed to bring people to build groups so that everybody can do something. So each person or people that are coming, we're going to build the committee or the groups to take care of all the things. I've only invited people to come, and I only said that I didn't want to tell 15 people 15 times. So I told them all we can meet. We could talk about it. Anybody have any questions? Maybe I can answer them. If not, when we get to the meeting, the questions will be answered.
Mm-hmm. So that's where we had differed, because like I said, last meeting, you said the recreation on the third would be the third week, and we do want people to come out. We're inviting everybody to come out on the first Tuesday of every month so that we can make this happen. Could you explain to me, Mr. Manager Gaines, how did this ad hoc committee come about in the first place? I know you read something, but I couldn't remember, was it an ordinance, or it surely wasn't anything in the charter?
Yeah, Councilman Baber, give me a moment to pull that up from American Legal Publishing, so that way we can all, like, hold on just one moment. Let me pull this up.
Now, Chair, did I do something wrong? I guess is my question.
No, I needed clarity on what we were doing, because, like I said, based on our minutes, we had said that we were gonna do our meetings through Respect My Block, and like you said, the only thing you did was misspoke what you was inviting them to,
Right.
which was the recreation.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that you didn't invite them there, that you did indeed invite people to
Yes.
this Respect My Block meeting.
Madam Chair, I just want to clarify. So, Councilwoman Brown, you said you're meeting with some people on Friday. That's you as a resident
Yes,
meeting
ma'am.
with people you know
Yes,
who
ma'am.
had already previously expressed interest.
Yes.
That is not an official village
No.
council thing. Okay, so, and then at that get-together that you're having, let's call it that, the get-together that you're having, you meant to say you're going to invite them to Respect My Block, but you said recreation
That was just a
committee meeting. It was
yes.
just misspoke. Okay, so I'm clear. Okay. Do we have the date, by the way, of the first Tuesday in May?
Just one moment. Let me pull this
I'm
up.
looking for my phone, and I threw it somewhere, as I tend to do.
So the first Tuesday, for all intents and purposes, is May the 5th. I'm not entirely sure if there will be many celebrations within the village, but that date, May 5th, is when the next Respect My Block would happen.
Oh, the day, election day. Which is the first Tuesday.
Yep,
So, I mean, that's a good thing, because people will be out. They'll be out.
for sure. And I'm currently working with our digital marketing consultant to get some more information out pretty quickly. So I'm going to be meeting with her, I believe, at some point this week, so we can kind of push that forward in advance of the Respect My Block meeting. And to answer your question, Councilman Baber, associated with special committee, so this is within our Code of Ordinances. I believe it is Chapter 38, Section 142. Says a special committee of the Village Council may be appointed by the mayor, or a subcommittee of the Village Council may be appointed by a committee chair for any special purpose, and shall cease to exist upon final report to Village Council or the committee on the duty assigned. And so, for that reason, the ad hoc committee could function as a subcommittee of recreation. Yes, and as I'm seeing it within the Code of Ordinances, there's no special designation on who can partake within said subcommittee. And I can reach out to our attorney so that way we can confirm on this specifically. But to my understanding, as it exists within the Code of Ordinances, it has no language in it that says that it has to be specifically restricted to council. And so I'll get some clarification on that for sure, but that's where that came up previously.
No, I was just wondering where it came from. So what you're really telling me is it's something that council voted on?
Not necessarily, no. I don't believe that there was ever a vote for an ad hoc committee. I was simply providing the information as to how an ad hoc committee could be created.
I'm talking about the ordinance. Where did the ordinance for this particular function come from? It had to come from council, had to have voted on it.
Mayor Key appointed the ad hoc or something one day. I can't remember how it actually went, but it came up in a meeting, and it was she just basically said that she can have she could okay us to do an ad hoc.
So she just, I'm sorry.
Because
She just
I don't
said it
remember
in the
being
middle of a meeting,
I
and
don't
I
remember
can't.
it being a vote or anything like
No,
that.
but it's
She
an
said-
ordinance. It is an ordinance. So
I-
council had to have voted on this. When did it come into effect?
Let me pull this up. So this came into effect in 1995.
In 1995?
Yes, ma'am.
And we've never used it before? For what?
So your ad hoc committees can be appointed by any committee, to do something separate, right? And I know Mr. Brown says Code of Ordinances. So if that's part of the charter, or is that part of the rules of council? So that means that it was amended in 1995. And typically, the ad hoc committees are appointed. And then when we've done Lincoln Heights Day, it's just been a Lincoln Heights Day committee and not necessarily an ad hoc committee of recreation. But every committee can have a subcommittee and is appointed, and those particular people work on it. It doesn't have to be council, it could be, community people. So that's where, I guess I'm just trying to understand, is it part of the rules of council, or is it under special committees under the charter, which is two different things?
So this is under
Chapter 1.
Chapter 38 of Village Council as part of.
The charter or council rules, under committees.
It says Code of Ordinances. So let me pull this back all the way to the top. So this is.
Yeah, so both pieces, the rules of council and the charter, would be in our total Code of Ordinances with all of our regular ordinances.
If I remember correctly, her and Mayor Key and Deepak Desai went through this whole thing about trying to find out the legalities of and how the ad hoc works. So that's when she said, we can do it. They said we can do it. We did. I don't remember it being a vote, but I do remember it being a full conversation.
Well, see, this just the bottom line with me. It's our 80th anniversary, and I keep hearing all this stuff about an ad hoc. I mean, I don't have a problem with people coming and helping or doing whatever. It's just that we took a whole Tuesday I think it was last week, and we couldn't accomplish anything, or nobody really wanted to accomplish anything because, oh, we need these people. These people are not here. Let's bring these people. You know, we're just wasting a whole lot of time. But, you know,
Madam Chair,
be as it may.
at our council meeting, we did not vote to have an ad hoc for the 80th. I believe Mayor Key mentioned it, and I can't remember which council meeting it was, but she mentioned we could have an ad hoc committee for that. And so then in the last recreation committee meeting, we said we would use the Respect My Block, since that was already a resident-focused thing. We would use that time to sign people up for volunteers so that we could create committees for different things. That's what that was supposed to be about, but we did not have a large turnout. So we didn't really accomplish gathering names for volunteers and everything, or even for that matter, what the ad hoc committee would be doing. Mayor Key did come to that meeting eventually, and she said she could create an ad hoc committee where she could appoint, I'm sorry, use the right word, she could appoint a ad hoc committee, or you could, but we still would need to know who those people are. So if you recall, we were talking about how to get the residents to come out so that we know who we had to work with and what we had to work with for each part.
We're repeating the same thing over and over again. That's what we just said. We just all just
I'm sorry I
said
didn't
that.
hear that, but
Yeah, that's what we said. And all I'm saying is that I don't want to waste my time or y'all time. I want to get this done, and I don't want to be treated like I can't make it happen. The last meeting that we were in talking about this, we talked about a credit card that people are not allowed to use the credit card, and it came about because of a mishap with a tent. So I purchased a tent I rented a tent for our last Lincoln Heights Day that we were allowed to do. And the money really was supposed to come from the grant money, but they sent the grant money back that was supposed to pay for the tent because they wanted me to have to pay for it. And it was the auditors that decided that I shouldn't have to pay for the tent because it was used for a Lincoln Heights Day, and we had grant money that was sent back. And I proved how I had to go talk to this person, and then I talked to that person, and bottom line is the mayor didn't sign the requisition, and that's what started the whole mess. Okay? So if people, and the mayor did bring this up, and this is the only reason why I'm bringing it up today, because that's my side of the story. Because, there's your side, my side, and then the truth.
For sure.
Okay? So, what's going on with Memorial Field?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, are you referencing the field itself, or are you
The
talking
whole
about
thing, the
concession
field,
stand?
the concession stand, all of it.
Yeah, so I have information prepared to share pertaining to the concession stand. So I have a biweekly meeting with MSP, which is the engineering firm that is responsible to do the designs and confers with the contractors, which is John P. Tunnel and Sons. Meet with them on a biweekly basis and do a walkthrough of the facilities. And so the roof is built. They are currently doing the shingles. They're going to be installing the shingles there. The doors and the lock sets are installed. The HVAC rough-in was scheduled for a couple weeks ago, and then of course electric is being stubbed in, and the plumbing is happening. They installed the copper case for the plumbing, and they are completing the masonry in that area once that was completed. They are going to be doing a framing inspection, and they're going to be completing the ceiling. And let me see. The roll-up door is ready to be installed once the counter is in place. So they're putting the finishing touches on the concession stand. The tentative completion date is the end of May. And so we're moving along pretty well there. As it pertains to the field itself, we are currently looking at different quotes to install the park course equipment. Yes, I know that's certainly been a topic of interest for several months and years, but we have received a couple of different estimates and just trying to see what we can do to get the lowest bid, but also the service that is going to be needed in order to install this equipment safely with minimal maintenance associated with that. And we're currently also looking at, what is it? I believe it is the field itself. There was some concerns raised within the Recreation Commission meeting associated with the walking track. And so new sidewalk will be placed in the front of the concession stand. And we will be marking the field in such a way where we'll be able to keep the athletes safe from any injury associated with using the field. Also looking at getting some estimates for lights, because that's going to be really important for our purposes. I haven't received any permit applications. I want to make sure I share that for the record. I have not received any permit applications for the field at this point in time. I know that there's been several organizations interested in using the field, and we're going to be giving permits on a first come, first served basis. And so for that reason, I want to make sure that I'm sharing that information on the record that we haven't received any just quite yet. However, once this concession stand is complete, we will make sure that we are able to accommodate whatever organization decides to come in and use the field. And so that is what I have for Memorial Field at this point in time. There will be further updates as we get more estimates and select a contractor to install certain equipment, and that's where we are with Memorial Field at this time.
So will we have a baseball diamond?
So we currently have a baseball diamond. We can certainly have it cleared off. I haven't received permit applications to use it at this point in time, but yeah, we can certainly do that.
Okay, I'm just checking. Anybody else have any other questions?
Madam Chair, one question for village manager. Did we ever look into the bleachers? They were swaying and not very sturdy, and I don't remember if we talked about that before.
Yeah, that's a great question. So as I mentioned, when we do those walkthroughs of the concession stand facilities, I'm also asking questions that you all are raising here pertaining to the park and its materials. So as it pertains to the bleachers, I've asked about that as well. Asked for it to be tightened up, see if we can do anything about that. I don't believe it in such a way where it's like in such disrepair that we can't just repair it. And so we can certainly have that tightened up. And also, if we need to get some estimates on having it professionally serviced, we can do that as well.
So Didn't we say something about bleachers on both sides? This is just bleachers on one side, and we wanted bleachers on the other side as well?
We did mention it before,
Okay.
so that the rivalry teams are not,
So they can have a place to sit as well?
yeah,
Right.
because
So
there's not enough.
did you look into that as well?
I have not at this point in time, but I'll make that a point of emphasis moving forward.
So one more question while we're asking you about things. Did you look into my solar Christmas lights for the village?
That's a great question. I have not at this point in time.
Could you
But-
please?
Yeah,
Way
for sure.
before December.
Yes, for sure. I'll make sure to mark that and make that as a point of emphasis, so that way we can have that well enough in advance for the holiday season.
Okay.
Madam
Okay.
Chair?
Go
May
ahead.
I ask a question? Village Manager Brown, can you tell me again the name of the company? You said you had biweekly meetings, and you said it kind of fast. Can you repeat?
John
Uh-huh.
P. Tumlin, Tumlin, and Sons.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're not going to talk about Lincoln Heights Day or this 80th anniversary. So we're going to go right to public comments. Anybody? Let's start with the gentleman back there. I don't remember. It's been a long time. Oh, Mr. Clark. Okay, I've been seeing him forever.
I didn't know which committee to address, but you guys brought up about the Memorial Field incident. Last Thursday, being the 17th, I got a call at 10:24 p.m. that there were people in my building. I came down here and I came and called the police at 11 p.m. and they showed up at 11:10. But the argument was, and the reason that I would like to address council is this: the argument that those people made is that that was all public property over there, and there's no signs posted as to what time it closes. That was their argument. We're just here because, the park is here. So it's not only a comment, but maybe it's a suggestion. We got plenty of gates up there. We got gates on all sides. And I think this is probably the only park in the nation that doesn't have a closing time. And after dark, it's not a park, it's
Freaknik.
yeah, it's a free fall. And I mean, all types of night, everything goes on up there. So, maybe you guys can look to put some signs up there, park closes after dark or
From dusk to dawn.
dusk to dawn or something of that nature, and lock it out. And the police, reason I'm here is just because the police wanted to side with those guys on that argument, that there's no signs posted, so they couldn't enforce it.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Clark.
Ms. Mitchell.
I have a couple of questions. So, has council decided to have the 80th?
Yes.
And is there a budget set? Because I think it's important when you go to an ad hoc committee or any committee, you start making plans, and if you don't have the money laid out, then your plans can go awry because you're not sure. So do we have a budget set for it?
Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah. So, Ms. Mitchell, there was some monies appropriated for seed money.
Yeah, the fourth, what's left over.
Yeah, and I do not have the information to share at this point in time, as we're still awaiting certain documentation. But we are hoping to receive some grant monies from Hamilton County. And so as it pertains to the budget, we're still working through what the planned expenditures are and what our planned revenues would be for all things associated with like vendor registration, The same is also true for what entertainments we will have. And so it's fluid at the moment, but we have the seed money, and we are going to have, theoretically, hopefully, fingers crossed, prayerfully, the monies that we apply to for the Hamilton County community-based event grant.
Okay. My other question regarding our Memorial Field and the concession stand. The concession stand looks smaller than the actual schematic that was given to us. And when I was up there, the roll-up gate and the doors, those are going to be easily broken into. Those don't look sturdy, and so I'm concerned about the safety and the protection of the stuff that's in there. And based on the amount that concession stand costs, something missing, I'm sorry to say. So I think you may want to get with Mr. Tumlin and look at that, because those doors are going to be easily broken into. Also with the concession stand, how many stalls are in each one and in the bathroom?
It's one per,
Oh, for male, female,
yes.
Just one?
one per. Oh,
Yeah, right. I'm just saying.
okay, one stall.
You know, you have all those people on the field. Okay. And in terms of the paper towels, because that was one of the things that we asked about, so that's not an expense. It is a hand dryer installed.
To my understanding, yes.
Okay. The other thing is the maintenance on the field. How often do they maintain it?
When you say maintain,
In other words, go up and empty the trash cans? Is that done weekly, at the end of the week, the beginning of the week? Because it was Field Friday, it's Field today. So if people are going up there using it, there's baby diapers at the playground, you know, so it isn't kept there. I mean, I can send you the pictures. I'll do that. The other thing is the playground. I see that there's wood chips up there
where the mulch
dumped
is?
on the playground.
Okay.
So how do we maintain that for the safety of the kids? Because, let me show you. Do we take our chips and put them up there when we chip the wood? Because this is what's up there. This is what is up there under the playground. This is a pile. It's a pile of wood chips, right? Some of them are chipped up. But if we are using what we collect, you know, from the community and our chipper, this stuff has to be treated. And if some child, this is dangerous. I mean, I was really, really appalled. I mean, I'll send you the pictures. And if we're going to be replacing the mulch, we have to have that stuff treated. We can't take what we pick up and chip and put it up there. Now, I know we do that around the trees. That's fine. But not on that playground, Mr. Brown. And I was just horrified. There's a couple of tires up there, like I said, a couple of cinder blocks. So I don't know, maybe we don't have as many service people as we had before, but that field has to be maintained, because that is a suit waiting to happen. It's unsafe. So, and that does come under the purview also of the Recreation Commission, to make sure that those kind of things are taken care of. They should be making those recommendations and everything, and like, hey, this is what's going on. And I agree with Mr. Clark. We have a schedule where the park is open at a certain time by service and then closed by the police at night, lock the gates. Seems, I mean, that's what we used to do. Service opens because they get there at 6. Because they're gone come dusk.
Right.
The police department should be up there locking the gates.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And they need to put the sign back up so that they'll enforce it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
We kind of, I would like to circle back to no business, because there are some things that we did not quite address, that we had talked about. So I'll start with what I'm looking at real quickly. The parade itself. Nope, let me actually back up more than that. What do we want to accomplish on this meeting that's coming up? What is our goal for the Respect My Block meeting? Yes, go ahead.
So, like we just said prior to this, that we wanted to get the people there so that we can discuss what we would like Lincoln Heights or the 80th anniversary to look like. And then our goals, we first got to know what we're going to do and what we want. And this is what I was trying to get us to go through on Tuesday, that y'all refuse to want to do it. So what y'all keep saying is that y'all want to bring these people together first and let them say what it is they want. And then after they tell us what they want, then we'll decide how we're going to make it happen from there. That's what y'all said y'all wanted.
Yes, we want input from the residents. Right.
So that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting on the input, so then we can talk about how we're going to make it happen. Because I have my notes. We talked about how many days. Nobody could decide how many days. I think y'all did come to that. Y'all did want Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or was it Saturday, Sunday, and Monday?
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
I know it was 3 days. So it was Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Then y'all talked about. Then we talked about what we wanted it to look like. The manager took notes. If he wants it set up in that manner, so be it. That's what we're gonna do. But we tried to do all this on Tuesday, babe, and y'all told me that no. Until we get some people here, we don't even want to talk about it. So come Tuesday, by the grace of God, people will show up and they will talk about what it is they would like to see. And at that time, we will talk about what we're going to do to make it happen. We did say that we also wanted to see the parade on Saturday. So we'll talk about those things when those people come. Because y'all not going to keep jerking me around. You're not going to play me like that. It's not going to happen.
So my
okay?
suggestion, I understand, but I'm just thinking of what we want to accomplish on the next meeting. And we do want to invite as many stakeholders as possible to come and let us know if they want to volunteer and everything like that. But we do know we want the parade. So I suggest we put that on the agenda. I'm so sorry, Miss ICRC. I'm sorry. But I think that we should put the parade on there and get that settled as far as who would we like to invite. I did say I think we should have marshals. Do we want to do we want to have a special grand marshal? I think those are things that we don't really have to have a large number of people to accomplish, but we can get it done so that we can get things mailed out.
Excuse me, I also remember saying to you, because you were so passionate about the parade, why don't you go ahead and take that on? And what did you say? I don't want to do it.
I'm going to tell you quite honestly, I have a lot going on.
Okay.
So I would be happy to help.
That's why
because I
you
did
said,
let me
excuse
finish,
me.
Please. I was saying I would be happy to help because I have done the parade. I've hosted it alone, completely by myself, which is why I know that it would be helpful to have several people working on that. I have the information still. I still have my list of people who are involved that we can, hey, Pride of the Valley, you want to come back? Here's the parade. I have everything that I used so it's not like
that's
we
why
have to
I asked you to
wheel.
head it up, babe, because you have everything. You're real passionate about it. You want it to happen. So between your list of things and the list of things that I'm sure Miss Lisa have, y'all can most definitely make that happen.
Okay,
no
so
problem.
I would
Madam
be happy
Chair.
to help someone with that. I am not going to take that on as the
so
lead.
we're on hopefully on Tuesday there'll be somebody that would like to head that up.
Madam
Okay.
Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to say that I do have a listing of people from since 2019. Every year, emails, names, telephone numbers. That will be something that I could pass on to you.
And that's what I just said. I'm sure Miss Lisa got a bunch of stuff. So between your stuff, your stuff, and her stuff, and the people that come on Tuesday that have as much passion as you two, we should have a beautiful parade because I know the residents do love the parade.
Another thing that you mentioned, and according to the minutes, was the invitation to the Recreation Commission to come and participate in planning that parade. So I think it would be a good idea to formally invite them to come in on, you said May 5th, if we don't change the date, if we do change the date, but just to make sure that they are invited for that purpose.
We will not be changing that date.
I will point out that two of us on the committee should be at the polls that day. So that means that if our meeting is supposed to start at 5:30, 5:30.
It
polls won't be
doesn't
closed
start
until
at
7:30.
5:30. I believe it starts at 6:30.
Okay, and two of us should be at the polls until they close.
Well,
So-
it's not a meeting that need a quorum. And if outside people will show up, by the grace of God, I'll be here.
Madam Chair, are we talking about Recreation Committee meeting, or are you talking about?
We're talking about the ad hoc committee meeting
Okay.
on the first Tuesday, Respect My
Respect
Block.
My
What did I
Block.
say?
Ad hoc, so respect my.
No, that's what it is. It's an ad hoc meeting that's going to be at Respect My Block. Don't be trying to confuse me. Ms. Mitchell, did you want to say something else, babe? Okay.
So I'm concerned about, I guess I need to ask Councilwoman Brown, so how are you recruiting people? Is it by mouth? I mean, is it on the website? Because
Well-
again,
It's on, well, you know we're being filmed right now. So we're inviting people as we speak. But then we also have our new, come on, Mr., speak up on what we got.
Yeah, for sure. So as I was sharing earlier, there is going to be some information that is going to be sent out through
mail?
various mediums like our website. We now have access to Constant Contact.
Yeah.
We haven't used that in like 4 years. So mail, email newsletter, social media, website.
Okay.
So all the things.
And that's going to go out before May 5th to get people here. That's my concern.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because if we've been doing it all this time, I'm just trying to understand how, if you didn't have anybody show up, how are we getting that word out? You know, so.
I have been using word of mouth and people just asking me questions, so I've been conversating. A lot of people are engaged and want to be engaged. However, a lot of people can't make the meetings because of their work schedules, and I understand that. So, which is why I wanted to meet with people that I just threw out a day. If you can meet with me, come out and let's talk about it. And people bringing me ideals, I want you to bring the ideals to the meetings. So, yes, I've been sort of waiting for our council to get the information out, but not waiting. Still talking and trying to
Okay.
get people engaged.
So you're just talking to people individually because you did mention about having a meeting on Friday and it wasn't open to the public, and I
No,
couldn't
that's-
understand.
Is the reason why it's not open. It is open to the public, but I haven't publicly talked to anybody. So the people that have reached out to me is the people that I'm going to meet with, so that I can say it one time and one time only, and then they can continue to spread the word, because word of mouth is good too. So
Yeah, it
I want
still
those
works.
people to continue
Okay, so
continue
respect
to
my block.
spread the word. I don't know how to get people here if we don't talk to them. Yes, we can invite them, but if somebody asks me, I'm going to use my mouth to invite the people here.
And have we sent letters, particularly to the churches, to ask them if they have parishioners, whether they live in Lincoln Heights or not, to participate, specifically to the ministers to say, this is what we're doing, because that seems to be effective and is Respect My Block every first Tuesday, the night that you're meeting to talk about the 80th celebration. 6:30 every first Tuesday.
Yep.
Okay.
And we did talk about getting in touch with the churches, but nobody wanted to go any further without seeing these different people, mainly
That's
the
not true.
stakeholders, whoever
That's
they
not true.
are.
Madam
not
Chair,
true.
actually,
Oh
that was
my
a part of
God,
what
y'all.
we discussed. It
Point
was
of
Okay, let's see,
order,
where we
point of
at?
order.
that was.
Where we
Point of
are?
order, point of order. We're taping, and it's going to
We're-
be hard for me to get everybody's voices if
Okay,
everybody's talking.
so at
Thank
this
you.
point, we're on miscellaneous. Anybody got some miscellaneous business they want to talk about? No miscellaneous business. Anybody got any announcements? Announcements, May the 5th is voting all day. Voting starts at what, 7 p.m., 7 o'clock a.m.
Yes.
to what, 7 o'clock p.m.,
7:30.
7:30?
Yes.
Okay.
I also have an announcement. I don't have all the particulars in front of me, but Princeton just sent out something. We all are excited about the opportunity for some of our young men, high school students, soon graduates, to look into a 7-year doctor or dentist program with Meharry and Tennessee State. And because we are in the area, Tennessee State actually is, even though it's, 150 miles, it's still considered in-state, unless that has changed. So anybody who is interested in being a doctor or a dentist, there is a 7-year program for the entire thing, and you would get a degree from Tennessee State as well as Meharry. It's open to Black students, but they are particularly right now recruiting for young men.
Yay.
From both, yes.
Okay, thank you for that. Yes, sir.
Ben Duhart, one of the trustees of Lincoln Heights Missionary Baptist Church. Just want to say on reference what you said about this, the dual degree. There's a website you can go to, email, you can,
Yes, and
I have it on my
say your
phone.
name again, please.
my name is Ben Duhart.
Duhart?
Is one of the trustees of Lincoln Heights Missionary Baptist Church. There's a couple of things, if I may. There's an email address you can send it for that information. I can give you the email address before I leave.
You don't
The
have it with you
microphone.
right now? Can you speak into the
I have
microphone?
to- It's on my phone, I have to get it. I'll give it to you after I get
Okay.
finished with it. And also, I was here with, on reference to the 80th anniversary. Just trying to do some fact finding, see what we can do to help. And just trying to see what day it's going to be, if it's going to be multiple days or just what you guys, what the 80th anniversary look like.
As of right now, it looked like we're gonna do multiple days. We're gonna do, like they said, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, Labor Day Monday. So the Saturday and Sunday, Monday, Labor Day. I think the only thing that they really have set in stone that they really liked was the Monday, the Family Day, where we were gonna actually invite y'all to come and help us with that if y'all would.
I know our church, Lincoln Heights Missionary Baptist Church, always believe in giving back as much to the community.
Yes, sir.
And Reverend Cook has been instrumental in doing a lot of things. Matter of fact, we used Memorial Field on 2 occasions for the Day of Love. Which
Yes.
I think it was like the largest number of people Lincoln Heights has ever had at one place for, that type of
In
event.
years.
Yeah, so we believe in trying to help out in any way we can.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just here gathering information on the behalf of the church and just see how we can fit in, what we can do as well.
Yes, we welcome Lincoln Heights Baptist to come and help with us, and we would really look forward to your helping with that Family Day on Monday, because we want to feed the village and sit around and just enjoy each other.
Okay, so I know at church we have a meeting at the end of the month, so I was just trying to gather some information.
Yeah, and then we will have that meeting on Tuesday May the 5th. That'll be our next meeting to discuss what they like to see happen.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may ask a quick question. Mr. Duhart, you mentioned that it was the largest, one of the largest events that we've had in Lincoln Heights. And I was just curious, do you have a head count for that by chance?
We're just in the neighborhood of 2,500 people.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Duhart, can you spell your last name, please?
It's Duhart.
Thank you.
And that function brought people from all over, not just Lincoln Heights. It was people from all over Cincinnati and probably people that came in from out of town and stuff as well.
It was a huge event,
Yes.
both years.
We used to do Lincoln Heights days like that, though, back in the day. Okay, that's why I say in a long time.
It was just here today just to see, just in fact, find and gather information what you guys are doing for the 80th anniversary.
Madam Chair? No, Lincoln Heights Baptist is not doing the Day of Love this year. Lincoln Heights Baptist is not doing the Day of Love this year.
That's correct.
Do we have your phone number?
Yeah, we have Mr.
Village
Duhart's
manager,
contact
yes, village
Oh,
manager.
okay, you have his
Mr. Brown.
information.
Sign-in sheet, too, up there. You can sign in.
Okay, I will.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, one more thing, because we will be meeting again in May. I think that even though we have a lot going on for the Respect My Block, we probably should put Memorial Day on there as well, and maybe do that one first, since that will actually be in May, just so we can have an understanding of what is happening that day.
Where I met with what's that from? That was for Memorial Day.
Yeah, that was earlier today.
Yeah, I met with Mr. Richard Haddon today with the manager. So they're already in the process of having meetings for that. So you're welcome to come to those meetings if you're available. I don't know when the next one's going to be. Hopefully on a Monday. It's in the daytime. So we won't be discussing that in Respect My Block. Okay?
Okay, is there something for us to do? As of right now, is there something that this committee is doing for Memorial Day? Or is that not our committee?
It's not. It's really not our committee. It's like I said, it's Richard Haddon's been doing it for 25 years. We're actually we'll be celebrating the 25th year, but you are most definitely welcome to be there that day. And if there's anything that the committee can do to help, I will reach out to each and every one of us. Okay?
Yeah, so, Madam Chair, if I may.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so further announcements will be solidified once we have all of the details associated with the program, because there are certain things that have to be put into place before any type of like formal announcement is made, because I don't want to share details and things fall through. And so that is the reason why we have not received official announcement yet to this committee. And so as we are solidifying details for that purpose, further announcements will be made here in this setting and then also through our various communication channels.
Thank you.
Hey, motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second.
Thank you, y'all.